Hello, everybody. Le Squad de Mathematique. Fans, subs, random people who wandered in here off the internet. All are welcome to the Weenie Wasteland. Welcome to my ongoing playthrough of Fallout 2. Hello. So I'm going to be playing Fallout and trying to survive bad 90s RPG writing and trying to survive being shot at constantly by raiders. Trying to survive being racially and culturally profiled by everybody I encounter. But also having a good time. Shooting dogs and rats and feeling like a tough guy. King Weenie of the Wastelands. So, I'm just clearing up the last little bit of, I think anyway, of Vault City. So last time I went to Gecko and I fixed the power plant and yada yada yada, and if you're a subscriber you can watch all of that on my VODs here on Twitch, and if you are not yet a subscriber for whatever reason, you're welcome anyhow. I post all my playthroughs on the YouTubes, so you can go check them out there if you are behind. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to keep up with chat. I'm currently a little bit like monitor deficient, so it's a little bit more extra effort for me to jump back and forth between the two. But if you have questions or whatever, want to comment on what I'm doing, tell me how bad I am at Fallout. I'm really bad. It's okay. All of that is cool. I like to have a friendly chat environment here. Probably won't be bigger than 500 people or so, especially because I think co-optional is still on. So nice little intimate chat. Be nice to each other. Be nice to me. Be nice to the Weenie Wasteland, and let's have at her, shall we? So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna try to find the vault. Actually, let me check my quests right now. So, in Vault City, I have to deliver Moore's briefcase, and I have to scout around Gecko and return to Stark. I'm also on this ongoing quest. The whole purpose of my wandering the wasteland here is retrieving the Gek, trying to save my people, because I'm the chosen one. And you know how I know I'm the chosen one? I fought some scorpions and some ants in a cave one time. That's how you become the chosen one. If Morpheus had just been like, okay, Neo, here's some scorpions, go fight them, that would be a thing. They would know. They would have known. We wouldn't have had to sit through the second and third Matrix movies. But instead, here we are. I don't have bullet time or a cool trench coat or sunglasses, but, I like to think I'm cool in my own way, just like Keanu Reeves. Okay, so I haven't, let's see, 1, 2, 3, have I scouted all these areas around Gecko? I'm gonna go check with Stark, and we'll see if I have. I don't remember which guy Stark is, but yes, let's go check it out. I think that he was I remember him being in some kind of like military building of some kind, so I'm just gonna wander around and check things out, see if I can find him. Oh, there he is, Citizen Sergeant Stark. What do you do here? Keep the outworlders, try and protect it from the raiders. What do you want to know about them? Oh, I'll try and find their base. I'm kind of good Samaritan. I'd like to help. I'd still like to try. So, this guy's a jerk. If I was an NPC in a game, I bet you he doesn't know he's an NPC. If I was an NPC, I bet you that I would be like, some random guy, like well-armed and stuff, comes into my shop. I would be so nice to that guy. I'd be like, hey man, whatever you want to do, you just go and hang out and Jesus, please don't hurt me, because PCs are unpredictable. Alright, so find their base, wipe them out, tell the first citizen. Sure. So he thinks they might not be raiders, because their blast points are too accurate for sand people. Any idea where they're coming from? Southern canyons, lots of space to hide. I can probably find him. So now I'm having this other conversation about Cassidy. Also, I'm working my way up to having $2,000 so that I can go get a car, because as I remember it, the car helps you just whip around the wasteland. Everybody was talking about. I'm actually just switching over to chat right now. Everybody was talking about something I wanted to talk about before. Before I went live, there were some people talking about. Oh yeah, dungeons. Right. So, hello, Zorblek. QQ, poor tears. Yeah, dungeons. There was a conversation going on in chat about how everything is a dungeon now, and somebody astutely pointed out that World of Warcraft did that. That's WoW's responsibility. So it used to be that a dungeon was a place where you kept prisoners. Then Dungeons and Dragons turned it into like a dangerous underground environment where adventure happens. And then World of Warcraft further bled that out to say that a dungeon, and this is the stance we take in Dungeon World, a dungeon is any environment in which action and adventure and excitement can happen for adventurers. A sky castle could be a dungeon, a vast forest could be a dungeon, an underwater environment like a bubble of air hidden underwater, forgotten city. The wasteland, specifically sections of the wasteland, could be dungeons. So, it's an enclosed environment. If you were here, I think it was last episode or the episode before when I was talking about books. In the Dust of This Planet has a really interesting sort of treatise about dangerous environments and like magical spaces. The author, whose name I can never remember, talks about specifically the inversion of the magic circle. So like a magic circle is something that like a wizard or a magician would use to keep danger out, and the dungeon is the inversion of the magic circle. It's an environment that contains the unknown. It contains the supernatural. I thought it was super cool. Just dungeons, thoughts that I had about them. I think that at this point in the vernacular of adventure games, dungeons are really just space in which gameplay occurs. And I think that because of WoW, the popularization of that term, most people understand this. Okay, so let's see. So I'm having this conversation about Cassidy. Cassidy's telling me one thing, Stark's telling me another. I should probably just cut Stark's head off and put it on a stick. I figure that's what you do with these people, but instead I'm going to try and talk him through this. So Cassidy says he was all paid up. This guy says he wasn't. Guilty of possession without a license. If he wants to, he can leave. I can threaten this guy, but I'm not gonna bother. Bolt's right outside the door. Okay, cool. So this is the guy that wanted me to scout the area. And actually, let me just double check because I guess it didn't. Yeah, so I haven't scouted it yet. So I'm gonna go do that and then I'll come back and resolve this quest. Yeah, it's really interesting how the vernacular of adventure has changed. I'm sure if any of you are tabletop gamers or computer gamers for that matter, because the language bleeds through. But like, how many words in your vocabulary, how much of your language use derives straight from some fantasy game or sci-fi game context, right? Like, when I was a kid, there's no way that I would have learned what the word Constitution meant necessarily without reading Dungeons and Dragons. Various pole arms. I know what a glaive guisarme looks like, and other than being a student of history, I can't imagine knowing that aside from D&D. So it's like this combination of regular words getting bent and blurred, like dungeon. I like melee, for example, is a word that I don't think means exactly what D&D and other games treat it to mean, but it's another one of those words that just ends up getting like co-opted by games. So yeah, kind of cool, I guess. I mean, this is true of language in any case, but I'm particularly sensitive to game-related language. And a lot of words mean things to me as a gamer that wouldn't have been true otherwise. So what's your favorite chat? What's your favorite game related word that you either learned from a game or feels like okay, put my weapons away. Or a game that's changed how a word means to you. Yeah, enervate. That's a good one. Enervate's a really good one. Yeah, dude, let's trade. Let's see what you got. A gun that I'm not strong enough to wield. Basically, I'm just looking for money. Okay, this guy's crap. You're crap. Way to be crap, Caravan. Now we'll try the always ironic. Let's see if he has better gear to steal. Aww. Witness my shame. Okay, well that was a stupid encounter. You encounter a caravan. How do I unencounter this caravan? Let's get out of here. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, obfuscation. Yeah. Obfuscation. Obfuscation, antediluvian, Methuselah. All good words from Vampire. Celerity. Yeah. There's a lot of language from Vampire. I forgot about that. They're using that kind of gothy, like, we're using intentionally confusing words or big, like, yeah, big words, classical literature words that most people I think don't know, which I think is really cool. Yeah, I learned quite a lot from Vampire, if not gameplay wise, then certainly language wise. Yeah, skullduggery. Oh yeah, y'all are good. These are some good ones. Yeah. So someone brought up mancy as a suffix, like pyromancy or necromancy or whatever. I think necromancy is probably the most common one. I learned another one fairly recently that I love. So a suffix machy, like machy, meaning war related to. So like pyromachy would mean like fire war. How cool is that? I learned it from God, I can't remember the source, but someone was talking about chronomachy, which is like time war, which I personally think is super badass. I'm not sure how to conjugate that into a person who commits time war, like a chronomachist, but yeah, really cool. So yeah, if for nothing else, and I definitely feel like games contributed to this as a kid, but also like fantasy novels and the like. Oh, it's so gross. My lexicon definitely grew as a result of playing games of all sorts, which is why I think it's easy to justify games like this one that are so text heavy. Yeah, Chronomachus. Oh, that's an awesome one. It's easy to justify playing role-playing games, if you want to learn things. That's how, when I was a kid, I always justified getting my parents to buy games for me. I was like, but there's so much like reading, and it's about the story, and not about shooting guys with machine guns and blowing off their arms and legs. But I kind of feel like that's a common trick among kids, is to like convince your parents that your games are educational. But I definitely, I definitely did that as a kid. StarCraft will teach me math, Mom. Now, thankfully, my parents were really good about letting me play games. My mom actually bought a Nintendo while she was pregnant with my little brother, so as soon as I was cognizant enough of the world, I started playing the original NES. So I've had video games kind of around me my whole life. And I got my Dungeons and Dragons books from my uncle the first time that I ever played D&D. So, I'm lucky that way. I also knew a lot of kids who were in that kind of satanic panic situation with their, their parents. That's a nice looking gun. I had a friend whose mom burned all his D&D books, which I think is just like a sad crime. But you know, I mean, people were weirdly sensitive about D&D back in the day. Okay. All right, let's go trade some of this stuff around. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like my parents weren't super invested in the idea of protecting me from inappropriate materials as a kid either, right? Like, I remember watching a lot of movies when I was young about like like ninja. I watched a lot of Chuck Norris movies. Let's see if you can equip this. Tons of Chuck Norris movies, tons of like White Ninja, like late 80s stuff that I should not have been watching as a kid. Like a 10-year-old does not need to see a dude get a throwing star in the eye. I distinctly remember that scene. I can't remember what movie it was from, but yeah. Yeah, it's really really an interesting thing about like media and exposure to it. You know, it's hard to justify the idea of like censoring kids from certain types of media when I wasn't, and feel like I turned out pretty good, but you know, that's all pretty anecdotal. And I don't have any kids, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, cool. Well, I just demolished these dudes. I'm feeling like I might actually be able to survive in the wasteland now. Feeling good about my submachine gun skills. My NPCs seem to have improved slightly. So that's cool. And I think they're starting to get equipped decently enough that I don't have to worry about them dying in every fight. So that's nice. I am going to continue back to Vault City now, I think. Yeah, so where would I draw the line in terms of like, I don't know, it's tough, right? Like, I mean, oops. Parenting is one of those things. Oh, I don't have any more armor-piercing ammo, that's why. Parenting is one of those things that I kind of feel like if you don't have a kid, you don't get an opinion. I would love to... I'm going to ask Wheat about it sometime. Because, you know, he's in the same... Wild dogs and some spore plants. I can't get loot off of spore plants. I'm out of here. You know, he's in the same situation in that you know, he's got a kid, and you know, he's in the sort of nerd space. So yeah, curious. I wonder if he's ever talked about it before. Honestly, I think it's one of those things that's cultural, right? Like North America tries to protect kids from sex a lot more than it tries to protect them from violence. So like, I mean, if you're raising a kid and you live in Finland, chances are pretty good your standards as a parent are going to be really different than if you live in like Iowa, right? Dog was critically hit in the eyes. Gross. So like, yeah, like this game's a good example. So my my parents wouldn't have had a problem with me playing this because even as a kid, and I think this is true of most kids, like I understand kind of what, you know, I understood as a kid what like real violence was and what cartoonish violence was, and like the difference between the two. But like, I mean, I guess that's the thing, is it's like engagement. Like my parents never sat down with me and watched those ninja movies. They never like played the games with me. I never had that advantage. And like Wheat, as an example, as a good example, I think, you know, sat through Walking Dead with Mini Wheat, and I think that that's totally appropriate. Now I don't know if he played it beforehand. But you know, I think that's the key, right? Is you sit down with people and you talk about the content with them, because kids have like nothing but questions about the things that they're seeing, and if you're willing to like sit down and talk to them and be like, yeah, this violence is not real, like zombies aren't real, but violence is real, and like this is a thing that exists in reality. Yeah, $300. Awesome. Just travel to NCR and come back. Enters the route in the Republic, but needs to enter the city. Yeah, I will take that job. Cool. Okay, good. So now I have another quest. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like for me, as a, oh, it's so iconic. I love this. Look at this vault. I guess I'm gonna have to go access the computers probably. It's a question of being able to answer the question that kids have, you know? And to acknowledge that, yeah, like some things are scary and like some things aren't appropriate for kids, and that's okay. But also, you don't want to shield them from every possible like scary thing. You know, do critical thinking with them. Teach them to analyze the stuff that they're looking at. Cool. So I'm in a vault. There's vault stuff around. Exits are out. Let's talk to some people. Are you a new citizen? Oh, I sure am. Welcome to Vault City. I don't see many new faces. I'm Phyllis. Okay, so again, the game's trolling me. It's trying to get me to be mean. If I wanted to give you my name, I would have told it to you, Syphilis, or whatever your name is. Nice. Low blow. I'm Grigori. Mind if I ask you some questions? Can you tell me where the central computer is? It's on the 3rd level. They haven't been there in ages. Okay, why not? Oh, no reason to go down. The only one down there is Martin. He's not a great conversationalist. Okay. Need some healing? Go see Dr. Toby. Okay, let's go see Dr. Toby. I'm in need of your medical expertise. I've been poisoned. Okay, say, can you heal my friends too? Only for citizens. Oh, there's Stimpaks downstairs. Okay, well, I will just take them. Wow, what a, like, randomly nice guy. I wonder if I can use any of this other equipment. No, I'm dumb. I don't have science. Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, as far as video display units, as far as like media and kids go, like, sure, you gotta recognize that ratings help, but also that ratings are created by humans, and they're humans that exist in a, it's a cool little interface. Humans don't exist in a cultural vacuum, right? So like I was saying before, Scandinavia, Europe, Asia, North America, like, they all have different standards about what's okay and what's not okay for kids. Or for anyone, for that matter. Like, you look at censorship laws. Yeah, there we go. We just got our Cassidy Easter egg. So he said that his dad named him after some comic book character. If you've read Preacher, you know who Cassidy is named after. If you haven't read Preacher, you should go read Preacher. I mean, not right now. Hang out in here with me, but go read Preacher later when you have some time. It's a fantastic graphic novel. Anyway, so like ratings are really helpful in terms of like determining the cultural norm, and if you're okay with just saying, like, if you live in a culture where you agree with the general behaviors and thought patterns of that culture, you can abide by stuff like that really easily. A really strong person. Okay, so I'm guessing I can't open it. Yeah, it's stuck, not locked. Okay. I am not strong enough to open that shit. Yeah, if you don't necessarily agree with the prevalent culture that you live in, then you're in a different position, right? You can't rely on that stuff. Because, like, look at... I mean, again, we'll go back to that Satanic Panic thing. Like, look at the 80s, look at the Tipper Gore sticker, look at what happened with Dead Kennedys and with, you know, Public Enemy, and there's this whole culture of, you know, deciding what morals apply to what kind of art. And so you recognize that these things are, you know, they're to be taken with a grain of salt. Yeah, and so, like, it's not a question of necessarily nationality, but just prevalent culture and recognizing that it is valuable, that it's a thing, you know, that like, we all live in a culture and help use it to help us make decisions about stuff. And that's what things like, you know, game ratings are good for, but that you can't rely on it completely. And I kind of feel like that's a thing that people often do, right? Where they just kind of want to do what they're told. thank you for subscribing, Frydolf. Once I get another monitor going in here, which I'll try to do when I get back from PAX, I'll be able to get notifications about subs. So if I missed anybody who subscribed, I love you, and you're great. I see a vent. Okay, can I repair the vent? Oh, Vic's gonna do it. Awesome. Spot something lodged inside and pull it out. Microfusion cells. Great. I gotta trade something with somebody. Here's Sulik. Here, Sulik, you unusual racial stereotype. Please carry this microfusion cell for me. And also, I don't know, this knife. Yeah, so that's a God, the first Sterling, that is a heavy question. So I don't think monoculture exists, right? Like I don't think the West, which depending on who you're asking means a lot of different stuff. I don't think we have a single culture, not by a long shot, right? There's so much division of culture and a continued sort of subdivision of that culture that there's no way to say like this is what. Yeah, I thought that'd be an upgrade. This is what Western culture is like, but I do think that there's like a prevalent popular culture that does tend to seem like it overrides the lesser known or like lesser exposed subcultures. But the thing about like a country like America or Canada, and I don't mean like to politicize this, but like it's made up of a lot of other cultures, right? Is that we're built on immigration, and so we end up absorbing some things and ignoring other things about culture, to our benefit and to our loss, right? So, I mean, this is true of every country, really, because no country is made up 100% of the people that were born there, and I think that monoculture is as dangerous to people, as dangerous to humans in general, as if we were all exactly genetically identical, right? Like, you know, we don't want to be that strain, that dying off strain of bananas culturally. So, yeah, it's a lot of. I think the human condition. The human condition is pretty different, but also in a lot of ways the same, right? Like. And it's an interesting thing, and a thing that sociologists who are smarter than me and have degrees in these things would be better off talking about. But I do think that it's an interesting thing to consider. I gotta really offload some of this gear. I like that I'm coming into the vault and just looting it. Like that's, like yeah, I'm a citizen. Let's come down here and just take everything. Here, have all this crap. I'll take it from you later when I want to sell it. Yeah, so it's it's cool. It's a cool thing to talk about, and I'm happy that the folks that make up my chat can discuss this without turning into a bunch of total jerks. I'm proud of y'all, as always. Thank you for being good people, Math Squad. Man, look at all this gear. Booze and drugs. But like the safe kind, like the doctor gives you. Tools. I'm just kind of taking the things that I remember selling for an okay amount. I can always come back. Yes, quickly, everyone become bigots. No, don't do that, please. That'd make me sad. So I'm guessing this big wonky room with the central computer is the central computer room. I see a lot of terminals. I'm going to go over here first and kind of see what's up. really scared the life out of me. That's okay. It's just not many people come into the vault. Who is this guy? Where's the computer? It's over there. It's the talking computer. What do you do here? Keep my eye on store. Oh, jeez. Most of the doors are jammed shut. What do you store? Ore? Ore from Reading? Okay. Not much ore. How come? McClure's worried about it. Interesting. Okay. I know where the center computer is. What is it you do here? See you around. Okay. I can give the guy shit for singing or tell him he has a great voice. Let's be nice. I bet you I get karma for it. Oh yeah, he was singing that Ink Spot song from the first Fallout. That's cute. Well, at least I'm getting practice picking locks. Yes, if you can hear in the background, if you haven't been on my chat before, that is Griffin. He's our parrot. He is a noisy little thing sometimes. It's mostly that he can hear me talking but doesn't know who I'm talking to and can't see me, so he's like trying to get involved. I actually am working on, while I'm working on the emotes for the channel, I do have a Griffin is making noise emote, so keep an eye on that if you're a sub. There'll be a little parrot head you can use to join in the fun. Oh yeah, look at all this computer stuff. I'm gonna save because I don't know, maybe it's the prudent thing to do here. Oh, thank you for the subscription, the Hypnotoad. All hail you, the Hypnotoad. Let's all stare vacantly at our screens in welcome of the Hypnotoad. Alright, so I've logged on. Let's search the archives for the location of 13. The archive lists only 2 vaults. Vault 8, which is this one. Vault 15, located far to the south. There's no mention of 13. I enter 15's location of my Pip-Boy. Okay. Any reference to the Gek? Okay, so they've used their Gek. 2 Geks are part of every inventory. Only 1 was shipped to 8. Well, let's cross-reference. Vault 8 got surplus water chips. Water chips are a big deal in the first game, I think. I think they're the thing. Yeah. Okay, so return to the main menu. Call up the reports on the power generator. Already approaching the limit. Without a new power supply, it'll be unable to continue to expand. Cool. Okay, so I've got location of another vault, so that's nice. Oh my god, the command seat where the overseer sits. Oh, it could be so cool. I'll just come back here. Someday. Someday, vault. Okay, cool. So let's go. Let's head out of the vault. I think I'm ready to continue. Cool. So profitable visit to the vault. I've got lots of stuff. How am I doing for money? I need 500 more to get that car. God, it's gonna be rough not having any money. But I also have a bunch of gear that I can sell, so. Okay. So I gotta go check out the raiders. I'm just gonna go up here and talk to the main town folk again. The guy that gave me citizenship. I just want to have a quick conversation with him before I go. And let me check my status here. Yeah, New Reno. Go to the NCR. Okay, Gecko's fixed. Okay, alright. So I want to check in about optimizing that power plant. I'm not sure if that's a thing that I've been able to do. Oh, of course somebody's at work. I wonder if I can just sleep in this dude's office. No. Okay, whatever. I'll talk to him when I come back. I don't know. I guess it was Fallout 3 where they introduced the idea that the vaults were all like social experiments or science experiments. I always thought that was really interesting, and really funny too. That like Vault Tech was like, well, we'll run this long experiment while we're also trying to save the human race. Sort of. I mean, they're a corporation, so. Well, we get a bunch of money for saving the human race. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna see if I can offload any of this gear. Hello, friend. Oh yeah, 200 bucks. Here, what do I have that's $200? Pliers? Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. It's 212. A shovel? Yeah, he wants that shovel. Anything else? Close enough. Oh, I need to give you more stuff. Fine. Jerk. Wait, no. I'll try and find something else I can trade him. Magazine? One thing of jet? Okay. I just want that money. Okay. Let's go back to the world. One thing that I'll say for like when you're making, as a game designer, when you're making a game that's part of a series, like if you're doing a sequel to an existing game, especially a game who has sort of a cult following, like the Fallout games kind of did, when you're making a sequel or you're updating it for a new console, or you're doing something like that, I think that there's this risk that you you end up becoming self-referential. I was thinking about this, like, what sort of stuff makes a Fallout game, and how much do you need to include of that to make it feel real, to make it feel like it's actually like legitimately like a Fallout game? All right, Red Scorpions, let's dance. But then also, at what point does it just become like a pastiche or like a reference to itself, you know? And that I think is the challenge that Bethesda must have had when they were first making Fallout 3, right? Because that's the danger, is that they're going to make a game that's just too referential and not enough of its own game. But I also think that you have this advantage when you're making these games to fill in gaps that the first games left. Like if you're... Language, Cassidy. If you're making a game and you leave yourself space for the game to be successful in that regard, you can fill that stuff in, or you can pass it along to get filled in. So there's like, I really liked Fallout New Vegas because I feel like it did a good job of that. Like it felt like more of a, I don't know, more of a sequel maybe than Fallout 3 did. And it makes me curious to see like continued Fallout games. I feel a bit like the Fallout series is in the same space, and no wonder, because it's Bethesda, right? But I feel like it's in the same space as the Elder Scrolls games, and that there are certain Elder Scrolls-y things that you need to include, and certain locations that should be a part of the game, but that you can do kind of your own thing for each game. And I'm really curious to see what those things look like as games go on. I mean, obviously everyone is excited about the idea of Fallout 4, but also, like, I'm not so much excited about the idea of there being a game as I am the idea of what that game might look like, and the unanswered questions or the places that they might end up going, you know? I also just really want there to be some kind of, like, Canadian place in Fallout. I think that'd be so cool. Like a drowned version of Vancouver or something. Griffin is very curious today. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's a task, right? It's a big task being a game designer and working on a thing that's so beloved and so like kind of held onto. Okay, so let's bring up some of those skills I've been working on so far. Let's get barter up to 60. I'm gonna raise science to 50. I'm gonna raise steel a little bit. And let's put a bit more in guns. And I think what I'm going to start doing, once I get guns to around 90 or so, I'm going to start bringing up energy weapons or big guns, because I can foresee later on in the game using some of those. Probably energy weapons because I'm such a wimp. Cool. Alright. See if I can find this Raiders base. I'm doing the kind of like, I'm doing the West Marches, where I'm like, I kind of think I know where it is. It's down here somewhere. So I'm just going to like wander a little bit and try and find it. This would be easier if I had the car, but I just don't have enough money yet. Raiders, huh? Well, I'm feeling cocky. Let's fight them. So, question from Tristere. What do you think about game franchises hopping genres? Ah, it's tough. It's super tough. Like, because how much is the like? And I talked about this, and it's true for tabletop games and for video games. We talked about genre in Being Everything Else. So I have a lot of thoughts on that. But I feel like genre is made up of a lot of stuff. Like the world, the art style, the mechanisms of the game, all of that is part of genre. So changing a game from a single-player action game to an MMO is a weird sort of genre change. It's a bit like making a game that was a tabletop game built on its own mechanisms, and making it a D20 game. And my opinion on that is that it was never a good idea. But it can be done if the mechanic type part of the genre isn't too different. You know, an MMO and an RPG, as long as the MMO is designed to feel like an RPG, yeah, get out of here, Vic. You know, I think it can be done, but it's also really tricky. I'm worried about this guy killing Vic. I think I'm gonna have to run over there. Take a shot at him. See if I can draw aggro. Come get me. Vic. No. God damn it, get out of here, man. 19, 29, 14, shit. This might be one of those fights that I end up losing because of an NPC. 30, 35, 45, okay. Yeah, so like Elder Scrolls Online, Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 10 for that matter. MMOs, I think, are seen by a lot of developers as a bit of a cash cow, where they're like, well, if we want to do something... Oh, man. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to load. It's such a shame. I was doing pretty good, too. Alright. Well, I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to go grab some water and check on my very loud bird. And if y'all will please and thank you, just stick around. I'm gonna run a quick commercial. We'll be back in 3 minutes to continue. So, thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.